Football fanatics, get ready. The United Stand pre-season tour is here, powered by One Football, the ultimate app for live scores, transfers and match stats. Download now. No one gets you closer.
Now this is the headline. This is the one I wanted to get into first. We'll talk about Maguire, we'll talk about outgoings, but this is coming in from the Mirror. Manchester United's owners have told Erik ten Hag they will hand him all the financial firepower he needs this summer, despite the club being up for sale. And it goes on to say a figure of around £170 million. So this is one that I just sit and look at and go, this has got more plot holes than Game of Thrones final season. It is absolutely all over the place. It makes absolutely no sense. To me, the only explanation I could think of, and I was sat there eating my porridge, sipping my coffee, thinking, what's the angle of an article like this? Is there any truth in it? Why would you even put it out there? The only thing I can think about is that, is this the Glazers thinking you're thick, trying to make you think that they're relevant and they want to stay? I don't know. Bolver's just said it in the chat. There's just so many things that wouldn't make sense about that. I'm going to sort of list them off. So if we are to believe that Man United are now going to give Erik ten Hag a load of money, why have they been talking about financial fair play for the last 3 months and telling The Athletic and the Manchester Evening News to talk about financial fair play? And now we've suddenly got 170 million quid to spend. Why would you do that? But also, I think the thing that really hit for me is that if you've got the money, announcing you've got the money on the 16th of July is like not buying everybody a Christmas present on Christmas Day so they dislike you, and then 3 weeks later when everyone's back at work and school saying, here's your presents on a Tuesday night. It makes no bloody sense. There's no logic to that. If you have the money, you needed to give it up in June. You don't give it in the middle of July when it's too bloody late. So it doesn't make any sense anyway. Ultimately, there'll be people in the chat saying, but Mark, you've said we'll spend 200 million. I think we will do by the end of the month. I'm absolutely convinced that we will still end up with a summer transfer window similar to last year. My point is, last year's summer transfer window was desperate, chaotic and all over the place. And I think that's what we're getting hints of here. I think we will spend 200 million quid. But I think it will be funded by sales in the majority, and fear, and chaos, and debt. I think we will have that spend, but this is sort of saying, we're here to back Ten Hag, we're going to back you. How can you come out, Franklin, welcome to Members Club, how can you come out in middle of July with a story that we're going to back the manager? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. You know, it's like somebody, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something here, an analogy that's not too harsh. It's like, I don't know. It's like you're a passenger in a car and you can see a rabbit ahead, and the driver's driving really fast, and you say, "There's a rabbit ahead. Move out the way. Move out the way. There's a rabbit. You're going to hit the rabbit," and they hit Bugs Bunny, and the rabbit's clearly not going to survive, and then they move out the way, and you go, "It's too bloody late. It's already dead. You took the action way too late. You bloody idiot." Well, I've moved out the way now. Too late. Too late. You know, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, I think that, actually an even better one is, no, I'm not going to say that one. I don't want to get into trouble with people who've got allergies. You've got to be careful what you say now. But it would have been a good one, but no, I'd get into trouble. But the reality is, I think it's just, it's so flawed, it's ridiculous. To say that we've got the money for Ten Hag now, when they clearly haven't had it for the last few weeks, is silly. And also, if we're being absolutely blunt, we're flying off to America in 4 days' time. It's too bloody late. He needs the players in now. My last tweet last night was basically, can you imagine what Erik ten Hag really thinks, really deep down? Can you imagine what he's really thinking? Because he must be absolutely fuming. The preparation of Arsenal looks good. How far away Man City are in the distance looks impenetrable. Liverpool are looking progressive. His team is basically the team that finished third last year. And for everybody who's going, I think we can have a good season, how have you solved the problems of last year? Right here, right now, the problems of last year, and I can list them off from you, because I do the watch-alongs, I do the shows, some of the top 5 problems you had with the team last year. They still down tools when things go bad. They don't create enough chances. There's not enough depth in the squad in key positions. We still don't play that good football. We're very reliant on moments of brilliance and a strong defence. And biggest of all, we don't have a striker. So, and there's a lot more lists, but as good as last season was, there was, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 big issues that haven't been solved. So he's going into next season at the moment with the same team and the same issues as last year. I fear this will lead to Erik ten Hag leaving. Poor business handling, says Quiet Mind. My heart skipped a beat when I just read Maguire to West Ham. Get it done, says SK. We'll talk about that in a moment. So they come out and say, here's the firepower, which cost us Kim Min-jae, says Tony Adams. Yeah, look, I've got to be honest. It's a news show. I've just given you where the news comes from, and then we react to the news. There is absolutely no way that Man United have got £170 million to give Erik ten Hag, and I don't know what spin they're going at, but if they had that money, they would have given it him already. We've missed out on some really good players because of poor negotiating tactics. I think what they're doing is they're pointing at a line in the sand that they can come back to at the end of August and say, well, we did say we'd spend money, but it's about when you spend money. If Arsenal bought Declan, here's a good example. I think Arsenal have had a good summer transfer window. Havertz, Rice and Timber, and I think they'll get somebody else. But the 3 signings they've made are all on pre-season tour. That's massively progressive. If they bought those same 3 players on August the 31st, technically they've still spent and bought Havertz, Timber and Rice in the transfer window. But there's a massive difference between having all 3 of them by the middle of July and having them by August the 31st. But technically, they've all been bought in the same transfer window. And a board could say, well, we've still spent the same money on the same players. But this is why people need to get it in their head about when you buy them. People just think it's about spend. It's not. It's about when you buy them. It's about efficiency. Because look at last year, Casemiro and Antony came in too bloody late. United just do things too slow, and I think that is the huge problem that we face.